playing with my paints here a little bit, and lips are probably my favorite part of a doll. So I do a lot of layers on my lips. And I just wanted to tell you a few things about this baby before I paint some lips. She's had about, I'm gonna say maybe 8 or 9, 10 maybe layers of several washes of the primaries. I did a little bit of a pink wash at one time. I did some of her details. I like to use strawberry blush for the blush. A trick that I learned a long time ago was, first of all, to use an angular brush, because that way when you're brushing, you always brush down and then you brush out. I should be showing you this way. So like that and like that, or that way, whichever you prefer. Then when you go back in and you wanna use a thin brush with maybe a darker color like the red wine or our creases, and you can fill in your lip creases. And one more thing that I always do is at the very end, which this is not finished yet, I put some white right here, and it gives just like a very nice soft reflection. I will use thick, medium, or pour texture or matte on the blister lip to bring out the blister lip, and I'll show you that. I just wanted to paint another little layer of lips with our liquid-in. I put a little bit of that, put a little bit of this. Being that she's had a lot of layers already, I want to be very careful. But just add a little bit of color there. I also learned to paint by Sue Ellen Taormina, and although she prefers the air dry method, all of her processes pertain to any paint system. And she just has been very instrumental in teaching so many people. But she is the one who gave me so many ideas as I was painting, and I highly recommend anybody to watch any of her videos, because if you go on Sue Ellen Taormina on Facebook, or I believe it's Tips and Tutorials Ultimate Fusion, she's got her Patreon channel, which she has recorded I don't even know how many videos, and you can pretty much learn to do anything, and highly recommend it. Okay, so then I take my little sponge and I pounce it a little bit. But one of the things I also learned from Sue Ellen was the dry brush method. So I'll take a little brush like that. I think this is called like a deer hoof or something. This is a scruffy brush. Now again, I will take it with my angular brush. Bring it down. Sometimes I'll even go right in the jar. If I have liquid-in on my brush, and I'll just take it right out of the jar. If it's going on top of a liquid-in layer, if you really want to get some color, instead of thinning it out, and yeah, that looks better. I don't really paint the blister lip because it kind of doesn't make sense. But some people do, I'm sure. Some people put white. I've actually, before I used our products, I used to use a little bit of green mixed with a slight bit of white, like our neutralizer green in this case, and some white, and that would also make a nice blister lip color. Again, I was taught by Sue Ellen in that regard. Our paints are so flexible and they brush out so nice that you can even just paint it on there and right from the jar. So you see how it works when you are needing to get a little bit brighter of a color, and right out of the jar I took that. Look how nice it came out. That's how flexible these paints are. I have to tell you, that's kind of fun. Take another dry brush, clean off the edges, so as not to leave any. Came out nice. Okay, so we're back and I finished baking her lips. I also added a few more creases, colors. I just darkened them up a little bit, and she still needs eyebrows, which I started to work on a little bit. But I wanted to show you some of how I love to do the finishing touches of her lips. And for that, I'm going to use our Dewy Effect Medium, which is amazing. If anybody of you haven't used it, I think you will be really, really impressed. So just take a little bit on your, I use my angular brush. And Dewy Effect is kind of cool because if you pounce it, great. But you don't even have to pounce it if you don't want to. I stick it in the inside of the mouth as well. So it's got that kind of wet look. I always have mail, so sorry about that. I think I get about 200 emails a day. So I go over the blister lip. But to finish the blister lip off, I'll show you what I'm going to do with that later after she's baked. So that's pretty much how she looks. You can see the little bit of white that I incorporated here. And there's a little piece of black here. I'm not sure what that is. Trying to get that off. But look how pretty those lips look. I'm really happy with them. They look very natural. And I also love to put Dewy Effect right here. Just across the bridge of the nose. That I will pounce a little bit. Just to give it some wetness, but not look wet, for lack of a better description. And if her eyes were closed, sometimes the Dewy Effect looks really nice, but in this area, it's kind of a nice area to do it in, because like the tear ducts, you know, make your eyes look wet sometimes. Take my brush and so there you have her. A little bit of wet in the eyes. Probably could use a little bit more over here. And those beautiful, luscious lips. So at this point, I'm gonna take her and I'm gonna go and bake her so you can see what she looks like when she's done, and then we'll do her blister lip and call it a day. Thanks. See you in a bit. So here is how her lips turned out and how the Dewy Effect made such a beautiful glowing effect. So let's look between her eyes. I mean, you can see that beautiful, beautiful glow. It does not look wet. It's just kind of glowy. And then her lips look amazing. They're so pretty and such natural color. And you can see inside her mouth that it's all wet looking, but that natural glow is just so pretty. So to finish her off, it sounds terrible, to finish her lips, I'm going to take a kind of a firm bristle brush here. It's like not really super soft. And our trusty thick medium, which is pretty thick. So kind of pounce it in there a little bit, get some on your sponge, or come at your brush. And then you're going to literally just glop it. Now you kind of want to be able to see it so that when it bakes, it bakes a little bit white as well as with some dimension, because we all know that blisters are not flat. So you're going to want to make sure that it doesn't just look like white paint on there, which when it dries, it will become more translucent. But the cool thing is that when it does dry, it will feel raised like a blister. Like a baby has a blister on their lip. And by using the firmer brush, you can control it a little bit more. Like say I want to move it and then maybe just put a little bit more in the middle. If I can get it on there. It's so thick. It's a very cool medium. Now, I have been working on it. I don't know that I'm quite ready to show you guys yet, but a lot of people ask me for an idea of how to make the skin look peely. And I've been practicing with our thick medium. And it's coming along. I'm getting the hang of it, but until I know how I'm doing it, I'm not going to show you. But for those of you who know what you're doing, if you want to play with it, this is the medium. And I guess just kind of apply it with a knife or with a, like a flat, you know, like a sculpting tool. So you can see how there's like dimension there. It's not flat. So I'm going to go bake it. But anyway, getting back to the thick medium for the flaky skin, just have some fun and experiment. It's really, really cool stuff. And I think that you might find that you might be able to get that look that everybody wants. Okay, I'll be back in a few. So here we go. After finishing her lips, I put some eyes in there. There are new blue sclera eyes, which are absolutely gorgeous. This is the green. But I wanted to show you how her lips came out. I mean, I think they look so beautiful and so natural. And the liquid-thin and the paint just jive. The dewy effect medium above here on her lips, inside her nose a little bit, inside her eyes a little bit, just enough glow. And then the last part of it, of course, was the blister lip. And it literally, let's see if I can do this so you can see if I can do this. It literally, you can see it's raised, it's not flat. And yeah, tried kind of translucent like a blister lip is. This is how she looks from the other side. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for all of your support. And until next time, mwah.